quick question that we often get. Does buying trade lines help to boost your credit score? And hopefully we give you something to really think about and understand as it relates to buying trade lines that can benefit you. Stick around to the very end. We want to give you something just for hanging on. What up? You got Mr. Smith, point 5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. In this brief video, I want to answer the question, does buying trade lines help to boost your credit score? Now, a lot of people throw that term out loosely, trade lines. I got to get trade lines. I got to get more trade lines. I got to buy a trade line. Trade. Let me trade for a trade line. We're a lot of people who throw that out loosely. What you got to understand is any account reporting to your credit is considered to be a trade line. And if it's an open account, it's an open trade line. And if it's a closed account, it used to be a trade line. But any account reporting to your credit report is a trade line. Why is that important? Because if we're throwing that term out, you got to buy a trade line, get some more trade line, you get to thinking that you need something that you don't already have. You see, sometimes, and I was on Clubhouse earlier, sometimes we listen to so much advice and it might not be applicable to us. Just because it may be beneficial or it helps someone else's score doesn't mean that it's some advice that we need. Because sometimes people are here, you need more trade lines, this is how you get this trade line, you do this. And you go apply and do all of these things and apply for all of this stuff, trying to get more trade lines, or you buy more trade lines. And what you do is ran your inquiries up, you hurt your credit even more, you put yourself in a rough position that looks like a red flag in terms of how the credit scoring model works, all because you just took some advice that was sent out as a blanket statement that did not necessarily apply to you. Sometimes people get to apply for all these different things, and I look at their report and I'm like, you already got a ton of trade lines. We need to clean this up. We need to get these credit cards down. We need to get this taken care of. We need to get some old stuff deleted. Let's work on that because you already got some trade lines. Then there's other people who don't have trade lines at all, and it's a benefit to having more trade lines. And by trade lines, I mean just more accounts on your report, preferably reporting positively. So to go back to the question, does buying trade lines boost your score? It depends. Now, buying trade lines is not a preference of mine. I could actually do that for people if I wanted to. Sell them trade line. I can use my own personal credit card and add people as an authorized user because I have good credit history and great, credit. Have had, prior to even us fixing credit and opening a credit restoration company, had 2 scores in the 800s, high 798, and this was prior to buying a house, and then bought the house and still had high 700s because it just, dropped it a little bit due to how the mortgages work, but it's still, excellent credit. Now, I said that to say this, I could very well sell that, but I don't want to sell it just because I can, just to benefit monetarily. I'm more so interested in the individual strengthening their score, making sure you have a solid score for yourself, not you borrowing someone else's. So when you hear the term buy trade line, you're basically hearing people who may be advertising to you to say that they want to sell you a slot on being an authorized user on their card. Now, I'm not here to bash or knock or hurt or knock nobody's hustle, because I know some people who actually do that, and I'm sure it has helped people. But it's a temporary approach to bettering your credit, because sometimes they'll keep you on there for a 60-day window, give or take, and then they take you off so they can replace you with some other people. And if it helps you get the job done and you are happy about it, great. But it's a gray area, meaning that it ain't illegal, but it's pushing it. And as the credit bureaus get smarter and they recognize when somebody is leveraging buying a trade line, who's to say that they may not come back and hunt you? What I'm more interested in is you building a solid profile for yourself and growing the trade lines if necessary and acquiring more trade lines if necessary, not buying more trade lines, because you don't have to buy a trade line. You just apply to get a trade line. Or you just opening up an account that has certain requirements that you're not buying the trade line per se. You're just establishing a new relationship with a company. So trade lines can very well be important, but the art or the act of buying a trade line may not be in your best interest. There's no guarantees. Some of those companies may not fully report properly. Some companies don't even recognize it that way. Now, we'll say this: if you're interested in getting added as an authorized user, instead of buying it, you should consider seeing if you have a close family member. Emphasis on close. family member that you know is taking full control or taking really responsible with their credit, and ask if they can add you as an authorized user. No cost. They don't even have to issue you out a card, so they don't have to worry about you hurting their score. But if they add you as an authorized user, you get the benefit from some of their good habits. Payment history, utilization, the whole 9 yards. So I would consider that over buying a trade line. If you don't have anybody in your family, then you just got to tough it out. If you've been messing up your credit for the past 6 years, you just got to deal with the ramifications that come along with you messing up your credit for the past 6 years. We got people who we know who have damage their credit for 6 years, but they want some results in 6 months, which is possible, but not always the case if you continue to have those poor habits, or we still have to clean up certain things on your report. And not to bash, because when I look at a score, even if it has the worst of the worst, it doesn't make me feel like, dang, this person is shot. Nah, I get excited because I'm like, okay, I'm like a sniper with it. Boom, boom, boom. What's some imperfections that I see? Inaccuracies. Boom, boom, boom. Let's target this and address it. So don't feel bad if you ever have to come to us or book us for an appointment, because we're not going to look at you any type of way. It's more of a game for us, because that's really what it is. And if you understand that credit is a game and you learn the rules, now you can play the game and win the game until they change the rules and you learn those and master those and you win the game again. That's just how it goes. But as it relates to trade lines, you got to understand that any account that you have open is a trade line. I was talking and answering the question of a queen earlier, and she said that she was denied for something that she applied for, and she pulled out a letter, and I was like, okay, give me more specifics about your scenario so I can answer your question based on what you said. It said, yeah, I don't have enough trade lines. It said that my utilization is off. It also says that I don't have any recent good history since my most recent derogatory item. So there was 3 different things she said. Utilization, I hit on that. Her utilization was out of whack. I forget what her credit limit was, but utilization, we recommend less than 10%. Some people say the sweet spot is between 4 and 7%, or between 4 and 6%. Great, but single digits is recommended. Even if you pay it off in full, you use it, pay it off, use it, pay it off. We recommend that as well. So that way you don't look risky to the lenders and the creditors. You also position yourself to have more buying power because you're not maxing out your credit card. So single digits. So that's the first thing I told her. Hey, okay, based on what you just told me, your utilization is out of whack. So that's one of the things they're talking about. Let's get that under control first and foremost. Then she had another scenario where they were trying to charge her for a secured card, and I gave her a solution on that. But the 2 things I want to point out outside of that is she said that she didn't have she needed more trade lines. And basically that's the same thing when they said that she needed more trade lines reporting, because she didn't have any recent trade lines that were positive reporting since her most recent derogatory. What does that mean? Derogatory items are anything that's affected your credit negatively. Late payments, collections, charge-offs, things of that nature, any public records, bankruptcies, all of that. And if your most recent derogatory item was a year ago or 2 years ago, they're looking at it like, okay, you still haven't learned how to strengthen your credit, because the most recent thing on your report is something that's derogatory, something that's negative. You don't have enough positive trade lines being reported to positively show that you are not the same person that you were 2 years ago, because credit is all about credibility. So when you understand that, then you understand, okay, let me just clean up what I already have, and now I can strengthen my scenario. So for her, she had to just get a new positive trade line, something like a self-lender. You can get that in the link below, along with whatever else I'm about to share with you that you can get. Stick around to the end. But she needed some things to strengthen her score so she could possibly qualify. So now it's a lot of things she can do before she even tries to apply for something new. Sometimes people apply, and that's the first step. Now, you might not need to apply for anything. You might have enough stuff on your report. And now if you understand that, you can clean up what you already have. And instead of you having to go buy a trade line, back to the point, you're building your own trade lines yourself, establishing credit for yourself, and cleaning up the trade lines that you currently have for yourself, so you don't need anyone else. That being said, that's what I'm all about. You strengthening your score, having a solid score, opposed to paying somebody else to borrow theirs. We want you to be in position, not dependent on somebody else. If you want the free credit class, definitely get access to the free credit class as well as the crash course. All you have to do is click one of the available links below and you'll get access to that free credit class just for checking us out. Share this with somebody who you feel may benefit. Share the free credit class with somebody who you feel may benefit. And I promise you, it'll benefit you or whomever you share with, because it gives you the perspective that you need to understand how credit works, so you know what areas you need to focus on. So many times people focus on any advice that they hear, and that's not their scenario. But if you know all the 5 factors, then you know, oh, payment history is killing me. Oh, I don't have a credit card, so I'm leaving 165 points on the table. Oh, I don't have credit history. I just need a little more season. So anyway, hopefully that helps. That's all I got for this video. Mr. Smith, signing out. Salute.